Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another Total War Rise of Mordor online battle. Today we are diving right back in with the tournament which is being hosted over on the Rise of Mordor Discord, and this is going to be another match between the grand forces of Canary and Boris. So this is the second semi-final between them. Obviously the winner moves their way forward towards that glorious prize of being King the Ultimate Rise of Mordor champion, and they've kind of got a nice little role reversal. In the on the far left, Boris is now playing as the forces of Gondor, and then we have the forces of the Easterlings commanded by Canary now. So they've kind of switched from the first match we saw, and they're now playing a different faction each. Obviously, as per the rules, you have to play a different faction every single time. It's kind of cool to see them all picking up different roles and seeing what they can now do with them, which is going to be very, very exciting. So let's take a quick look at the forces as the two sides do get closer and closer towards one another. I think, as you can see, Boris is going to be taking up a pretty good fortified position in these woodlands, which is going to be a big help to him and his missiles. But let's go and stick it on slow-mo and just take a quick look at what the two sides are bringing. So for the Force of Gondor, we have a much more heavier focus on sword infantry this time. In the last match, it was much more about that kind of holding spear infantry, but no, this time we're getting more swords ready to dive into battle and get their weapons bloodied. So we have a hand-fighting 4 units of Gondorian swordsmen supported by a general citadel guard. We also have some of the super cheap levies. Yeah, I think these guys are an auto take in every single army. We also have some of the warriors of Lasarnak, one of the fiefs of Gondor, and these guys are going to be a great flanking unit getting stuck in. We then also, I believe from what I saw, have 6 units of cavalry again for Boris, bringing a lot of Gondorian cavalry, trying to dominate that field, and I think Canary has a lot less this time than 6 units of cavalry. Actually, well, this is the first match between them both, so the second one was probably a little bit more influenced by what the players brought in this one, but yeah, Canary does have a lot less cavalry. I think he has 4 units, so they're obviously very good horses, but yeah, he does have a lot less. He obviously has these awesome Banes of the Steppe horses, and then he also has the Lancers over here on the far right-hand side, who again just look absolutely spectacular. So he obviously has 4 units of cavalry. He then also has some missiles as well, something we didn't really get to see in their second match between one another. We have these awesome-looking bowmen. So playing more of that range game could be a good idea. However, that does leave you pretty vulnerable just to getting rushed and overwhelmed by the sheer amount of firepower or hitting power the forces of Gondor do actually have. So they are going to continue to move forward and just set up. They also then have just some of the normal Easterling infantry. Again, always looking good. Very sturdy unit. We then have another unit of Easterling halberds, which are going to be throwing their way probably to the rear line and then reinforced. And then some of these spearmen as well. So we don't actually have any of the awesome warlord units in this army whatsoever, I don't believe. Yeah, no, we have a nice little situation of clans guard on the left-hand side. So none of the really aggressive swords. And I guess the players might have agreed to avoid the main forest there and fight outside of it, because I don't really see the reason why the Gondor player wouldn't take up residence inside this forest. But I guess maybe then Canary would just fall back and, you know, avoid fighting in that forest, because yeah, I mean, again, I don't know who's the attacker and who's the defender, as there is a dedicated person who has to attack in each of the games, and I believe it switches depending on you know, who did it in the last battle. So in the first battle, you know, maybe Canary will be the defender, so it means Boris, who's playing Gondor, has to attack, and then it switches in the second game, and then if there is a third game, it goes to another one as well. So far, I don't know, it's very interesting. If Canary plays very tight with his formation, utilizes his archers, he could definitely have a very, very good show of it this time, because the Eastern infantry is nothing to mess with, and there's not really any missiles for Gondor to deal with these halberds besides the coastal levies. If these halberds can kind of end up untouched, they're going to be doing a crazy amount of damage. And we're already seeing some archers starting to unleash some volleys off. Picking off a horse or two, that'd be pretty big if they could get a casualty up on that horse, because every single horse they take care of really, really, really does dramatically reduce the charge damage. And yeah, you can see all the archers now firing in. 1 or 2 maybe horses going down. I haven't seen a horse go down yet, but they've definitely taken some casualties. So again, on the charge, they might be a lot less effective. But yeah, Canary needs to be really careful because there's just so much cavalry. And yeah, killing 1 or 2 is pretty good. But obviously what we expected to happen is happening. We are seeing the forces of Gondor just rush forward. Really, there's no reason for them not just to push on the enemy. Knowing they don't have the range advantage, they really should just push up as best as they can. And we can see some of the Easterling cavalry forming up there as well. Just making sure that they don't get kind of caught off. And then we're going to go a nice little catch right here. I believe the cavalry is going to end up able to capture the Gondor cavalry right there, because you get an insane boost to your speed when you do charge. However, immediately out of the forest, after the charge does kick off, we are seeing another unit of Gondor cavalry emerge and then charging, get a nice little counter flank. Canary is doing a great job of reinforcing these and not leaving these charges unassailable. They are reinforcing with some of the Clan's Guard and pushing more and more men off. We're also seeing quite a lot of these bowmen actually using up ammunition as well. Obviously, trying to take down as many of these axemen and also the levies as possible. This is probably the prime target, and the Gondorians are going to continue to push up. But that cavalry advantage really showing up big. You're having more and more horses being charged out. Unfortunately, this unit is charging for its own unit, but still pretty effective right there. Yeah, and as you can see, just the maneuverability is really coming into play as a nice little side charge right there. We've also got another cavalry engagement going off on this left-hand side. Again, the forces of Gondor just smashing in, kind of just pinning down the forces of the Easterlings, and then just utilizing that extra spare cavalry to then find the gap in and try and hit something a little bit more valuable. Because this is obviously a losing fight for the Gondorian players. They're not going to be able to, win in the fight against the Bane of the Steppe and also Clan Guard in there. They'd have a hard time alone against the Bane of the Steppe, which is the Easterling horse. But obviously with more reinforcements as well, it's going to be useful. And they're going to just kind of pull out of here, use their maneuverability as best as they can. But as you can see, it is a pretty messy battle right now as the Lancers try and pin down the sturdier Gondorian cavalry. And obviously the Gondor cavalry is much better in a prolonged engagement than I assume the Lancers are. The Lancers are all about that charge bonus, which is obviously going to be pretty effective. And you can see both sides are scrambling, and this is where the maneuverability really comes into play for the forces of Gondor. Having the extra cavalry is just always going to be so useful. Oh, and unfortunately as well, these levies maybe get a little bit too close. We are getting a unit of the halberds, though, clashing into the side of the Gondorians. This is going to be great for the Easterlings. Going to be able to rack up several kills on these forces, and then also, obviously, either shoot them into the side, which is probably what I would be doing by missiles. Maybe just focusing all these missiles on the left-hand side. But we're also utilizing and taking out this cavalry. And they're doing a great job at dealing with this cavalry, honestly. Considering they are outnumbered and outmatched there, they're doing a pretty nice job. And we're going to get a rear charge on the front lines by Canary and his Eastling forces. Oh, brutal! Ripping through them on the back. And that's going to, hurt. That is going to really, really hurt that unit. However, we do have some nice setup here by Gondor as well, hitting back levies into the side of the Clan's Guard, but however, the Clan's Guard aren't going to be able to get in on them. I assume these levies are going to turn around and just run away as quickly as possible. They're also taking a lot of casualties, and right now they're trading like a 400 gold unit for like an 1,000 gold unit. So far this is amazing. I can't believe they're still able to throw their javelins as well. Also, what the hell is going on back here? There's a unit of Gondorian cavalry just sitting all the way back here. Is this like a mistake? This must be like a mistake unit or something that wasn't supposed to be brought. Because if this is supposed to be used, I don't know what the hell is going on right now. Canary is doing a pretty good job of... Yeah, I can't believe they lost that as well. That's insane. The coastal levies are insanely good. And a nice rear charge there as well by Boris going into the rear of these halberds. It's exactly the type of unit you want to have going into the back of them. And we also have this unit of halberds kind of surrounded as well, which is going to be pretty catastrophic for them. They're going to be taking way more casualties than really they should. But it's been pretty impressive how well Canary has dealt with this mass cavalry advantage that the Gondorian player does have, because honestly, with this much cavalry, it's pretty difficult to to pin it all down. And he's kind of playing quite passive with the infantry engagement, and actually doing a great job. The general's about to go flying into the back of this unit of cavalry, and the Bane of the Steppe is obviously much more of a melee cavalry than the Lancers are, so they'll be doing a huge boost to this this combat right now. And a lot of the archers are just, pinning off a lot of these spare units of cavalry. However, the left-hand side is not looking as good for the Easterlings. They're finding themselves actually being enveloped pretty heavily. Bane of the Steppe trading quite nicely, but this cavalry has been wrapped around. Yeah, and I'm just so curious about what the hell this unit is doing. Has this just been forgotten about in a tournament to forget about a crucial unit like the extra unit of cavalry? It's insane. However, reinforcements are arriving. We're getting the axes charging into the front line for honor and glory for the White Tree, for Denethor. Moving in to repel the enemy infantry. But you can rely on both of these units. The Gondor Sword Infantry, you know, sword and board, standard frontline infantry unit. And again, so is the Easterling Infantry. The Easterling Infantry wielding them awesome custom maces, whereas Gondor obviously the fabled sword and shield. The Axes are going to pull back as well. And probably get another charge off as well as soon as they can. You know what I mean? So far, Ban's power is still pretty even. The cavalry fight has been pretty well set up. However, we are getting this smaller unit of cavalry running into the battle lines, getting shot pretty heavily, and it seems like they've pulled through here. We're going to be going in for another charge onto the archers. However, Bane of the Steppe are moving into counter-charge, and obviously they're getting hammered by missile fire. So these archers have been a great pick. They've really paid for themselves. Able to hit the cavalry in combat, and also just kind of force a nice range game. I mean, I feel like this cavalry was a great pick. Really, really was. And, you know, as you can see, there's not that crazy amount of cavalry left for Gondor, considering they have 2 more units. No, this cavalry must have been forgotten about. I can't imagine they left it in reserve all the way back there. Oh my god, wow, that was a big misplay right there, unfortunately. Because that could have been doing so much. I could have definitely been hitting a unit of archers and preventing the Lancers from going into the back of the Gondor swords. I mean, luckily their morale is more than capable of you know, withstanding that charge, but they're taking casualties. They really, really are. And this cavalry could not come into the battle soon enough, you know. This is a fresh unit of horse. They're going to go right into this unit of Lancers. And yeah, the archers are immediately going to be focusing on this. They're happy to kind of Ramsay bolting their way into this combat, and some of the cavalry, the smaller units, have come back from routing and are immediately going to go into these archers. Again, not going to be doing anything crazy. Actually, no, they're going to decide to go elsewhere. We're also getting this unit of coastal levies as well. They have their entire ammunition arsenal left remaining, so I imagine they're immediately going into this general unit as well. However, they are going to find themselves probably countercharged pretty quickly. The left flank as well is, yeah, it's still pretty sturdy, but these halberds are holding firm. And the front line's looking pretty good with these constant cavalry charges. I think the Easterlings have this battle on lockdown after how crucial it was. And yeah, they really did an amazing job of nullifying that cavalry advantage. Well, I guess it wasn't really a huge cavalry advantage in the end. It was just one extra unit, and I think that definitely cost Boris the game, as these archers were able to fire basically all their ammunition the entire time throughout the battle. And even still, you know, you're getting other units being pinned away. And yeah, look at that. The Gondorian morale is dropping pretty heavily. And you're going to get some archers round the back and just shooting into the sides and rear of these Gondorian swords, who don't really know what's about to hit them. I mean, they would if they turned around, but unfortunately, their days are numbered. So really nice play. Utilizing these archers. I always like to see archers being brought in games, in like more competitive games, because I think they can be really well utilized, and I think the Eastlings showed how well they can be utilized, even against someone who does have superior cavalry. And again, these archers aren't like easily taken care of as well. Like a full charge by Swan Knights will devastate them, but for the most part, they can kind of hold their own. As long as they're braced, they're not going to get slaughtered off one charge. You know, this unit of archers is expensive, but it's worth every single penny, because they can also double as an infantry unit as well if they need to. And yeah, just shooting into combat is yeah, it's a pretty good idea. And yeah, the days are numbered, but we're just going to have a unit of Citadel Guard fighting to the end, bravely pushing on as the archer fire comes in bit by bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. We're obviously going to stick around and see who got like what kills, what units really overperformed and what units underperformed in this battle. So make sure you don't go anywhere. But yeah, if you guys want to keep on seeing these tournament battles, I've still got a bunch more replays and obviously the final to cover as well. So if you guys want to see them replays, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. The previous 2 Rise of Mordor tournament battles have done really, really well. So I'm more than happy to keep on doing them if that's what you guys want to see. And maybe I can even talk to a Rise of Mordor Discord. I can set up another tournament, which I'll cover a lot more. Maybe even do a live stream here and there. So yeah, if that sounds cool, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, you guys can maybe be a part of it. Maybe you guys can represent me in a bigger Rise of Mordor tournament, which would be pretty cool. So let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in, because I'd be happy to set that up and maybe take a bit more of a role in organisation with it. Maybe we could do a cool 2v2 tournament or something, would be pretty dope. So I'd love to see how the dynamic changes. Obviously, these are 1v1s. I'd love to see how the battles change when it's 2v2, more competitive lists and stuff. Be very, very exciting. Yeah, so there's lots to do. If these videos continue to do well, there's lots we can do. And obviously, with the new Rise of Mordor update, there's way more units to use, you know. We haven't actually seen, we've seen the dwarves, we've seen Gondor twice, and we've seen the Easterlings. So, you know, there's still plenty. Obviously, the elves are in. We have more units of Rohan coming in, Mordor and Dol Guldur as well, so there are plenty of factions that can be played in a tournament setting now, which is super exciting. And there you go. Battle's going to be taken up now, so, I mean, unless I've got the names wrong, I'm pretty sure when we were loading in, they had switched factions, unless it was messed up, but I'm pretty sure the game is 1-1 right now, so that does mean that there has to be a tiebreaker, even though I didn't get given a tiebreaker replay, but maybe it just wasn't very good, so it didn't send it to me. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like Gondor do end up winning this one. Sorry, the Eastlings do end up winning this one and drawing them 1v1. So yeah, I'm curious who actually, unless like we'll see now, right? Because Canary was the Eastlings and he was Gondor last time. I'm pretty sure he was, unless I've completely misremembered that. And they're actually the same factions, but I really don't think they were. I really don't think they were, but if I messed it up, and I am sorry, maybe I have, but if this is just a battle you're watching, it doesn't really matter too much. So kill-wise, yeah, obviously, Bane of the Steppe, huge unit going in there, doing loads of damage, really good melee cavalry, and when they're not fighting against Knights of the Silver Swan, they really can utilize that like sturdy axe and shield infantry unit that can just get stuck in to a more prolonged cavalry engagement, whereas the Swan Knights would really do damage on that charge and kind of blunt their assault. The archers as well. Archers, I think, for me, were MVP in this battle. They really were. They were able to pick away some of these deadly axe units. Like, 200 kills on this axe unit, who was probably untouched, compared to, you know, the other unit that probably were hammered by missile fire. Again, they really nullified one of the levy units, and they also were able to hit a lot of this cavalry as well. So, for me, these 3 units of archers were great. And again, for the Eastlings, like, these archers are actually pretty good in combat as well. So you can just double up when your infantry line does start to falter. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, drop a like and a comment down below. A massive shout out to all my Patreons and YouTube members. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to find out how you can support the channel, then make sure you go ahead and click my Patreon or hit the join button and become a member. You get some really cool perks like watching episodes early from Let's Plays, as well as your name on this screen right now that you're watching, which I update every single month. So I really appreciate it. Also, if you're interested in Warhammer 40k, if you're interested in the Games Workshop Lord of the Rings miniature stuff, and you live in the UK or Europe, then make sure you check out my Element Games affiliate link down below in the description as well. You can go ahead and pick up the models about 15 to 20% off. It's a really good company. I've used them multiple times to picking up miniatures, and obviously with 9th edition right around the corner, I've been using them quite a lot. So do go check them out. Link is in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.